What's up, you fuckheads? How we doing? Welcome to this week's video recap. It has been a couple of weeks. I know it has been a couple of weeks, and that is on me. It has been a rough couple of weeks. It just is what it is. You know, life gets in the way. But we are going to roll into this week's video recap, which is week 12. It is make it or break it time. It is literally you win and you're in, and you lose and you're out. This week, we also had a couple of buys locked up, aka yours truly, and we also had the toilet bowl. It feels like the two shitheads at the very bottom are basically was vying to get a win over the other one, which might be important this week. So that was a pretty big game. Hopefully, everything plays out like it should. So we'll see how the playoffs look right after this video recap. So let's jump right into it, shall we? The first person up for the matchups is yours truly, the OG Reaper, and versus the Muth Luth. Congratulations, by the way, on your win last night for Alabama. That was exciting to watch, and I hope the best for Alabama. But we'll see how Georgia fares, and it's probably going to be another SEC matchup in the finals again, which would just be hilarious. Anyway, back to the fantasy football. Here we go. We've got 110.94 points versus 99.94 points. Very much could have been in the realm of possibilities, but Russell Wilson just couldn't get it done for you on a Monday night. I had Tom Brady go for 12.24 points, David Montgomery 8.9, Christian McCaffrey back on IR at 3.5. That motherfucker, I swear. Deontay Johnson 14 points, Cordell doing his thing, 29.5 points, Mark Andrews 14.5, Darrell Henderson getting banged up, but he got me 15.3 points. Mr. Bass 5 points, and the Bears D got me 8. And then on the flip side, Russell Wilson 19.48, Melvin Gordon 9.3, Najee Harris, I don't know where he went last week. He banged me up in a couple of leagues. 5.2, T. Higgins, though, coming out big, 23.4 points. Keenan Allen, just steady Eddie, 12 points. Fryer Muth, 12 points. Brandon Ayuk, 11.5 points. I'm glad he figured out how to play football again. Matt Gay, 4 points, and the Chargers D got you 3 points, and it wasn't enough to beat me on this side. Next up, we have Rusty Trombone versus the Hans Butt Plower. I'm sorry. That's weird. Yeah. I'm just looking at something. All right. So we've got two guys, one penis versus Hans Butt Plower. The two guys, one penis, won again this week for the fourth week in a row. He is on a roll towards the playoffs with his sights. 114.2 points versus 82.34 points. Mr. Butt Plower had Aaron Rodgers, 29 points. James Robinson, 10 points. DeAndre Swift, 1.4. Justin Jefferson, 11.26 points. Devonta Smith, 3.2. D Knox up in this bitch, 16.7. David Johnson, 6.5. That hurts that you had to play him. Chris Boswell, 3 points. Cowboys D got you 1. And on the flip side, Lamar Jackson, 13.4 points. Zeke, 13.9. Joe Mixon going ham with a 33 burger on you. Mike Evans only didn't show up, 3.1 points. Michael Gallup had a pretty decent game at 16.10 points. Dallas Goedert, though, ouch, 0.5 points. Austin Eckler, 18.9. Badgley, I guess is how you say his name, 6 points. And the Texans D, shockingly enough, got you 6 points. And you whooped Mr. Han Butts Plower's ass. Next up, we had the shit bowl of all bowls playing. Noel Joel had 119.26 points, beating Fauci's a Trans at 109.10 points. Noel Joel had 28.30 points for Dak Prescott. Miles Sanders had 6.9. T. Jones, 2.7. Brandon Cooks, 12. Hunter Renfrow, kicking ass, 21.96. George Kittle, 1.8. Jay Williams for Javonte Williams, 18.6. Nick Folk, 10 points. And Patriots D got you 17, just killing people. On the flip side, Joe Burrow only had 17 points, but Leonard Fournette had 43 fucking points. He would not stop scoring goddamn touchdowns. and he still lost. And you're not the only one. I had buddies that also lost with Leonard Fournette somehow, some way. He also had A.J. Dillon go for 17.5. Kenny Golladay only had 6.5. Stephon Diggs got you 16.9. But your Hooper and your tight end got you 0 points. Alex Collins just flat out sucks, and he's old. 0.2 points. Your kicker only got you 1 point, and your Eagles D got you 6, and it wasn't quite enough to beat Mr. Noel Joel. Next up, we have got the Unicorns and Then Some versus Team Hagen. Team Hagen taking this one down by 10 points or so, 92.8 points to 82.9. Team's Unicorns had Tyrod Taylor, 15.32 points. Damian Harris, 11.7. Saquon Barkley, 7.3. DJ Moore, 15.3. Jerry Jeudy, 3.5. Darren Waller, 4.3. Hilliard got you 21 points. Whew. Jake Elliott, 1 point. Panthers D got you 3, but it wasn't quite enough to beat Hagen, who had Jimmy Garoppolo go for 12.2. Josh Jacobs, 18.2. Mark Ingram basically got 0 points, which even hurts more. Cooper Kupp, 15.1. Robbie Anderson, 2 points. Jared Cook, 9.5. Van Jefferson, though, had a pretty good game, 16.8. Ryan Suckup, 6 points. And the Ravens D got you 13 points to beat Mr. Unicorns and Then Some. Next up, we have the Oh Yeah lineup as well as the Donkey fucking lineup of the week. Oh Yeah lineup, Mr. Ballbuster getting a win to get into 6-6. And Van Damage lost, getting him to 5-7, which could be the doom of that team. We will see. But Ballbuster had Justin Herbert go for 24.7. Elijah Missile, 28.3. Kareem Hunt only had 2 points, but Deebo Samuel, fucking monster, 20.3. T.Y. Hilton, 10.8. Gronk, of course, Gronk, 18.8. Boston Scott, 11.2. Robbie Gould, 5 points, and Buccaneers D got you 12. And you whooped up on Team Van Damage, who had Jalen Hurts go for 9.86 points. R. Stevenson, 4.60. Dalvin Cook, 10.3. Tyler Lockett, 11.1. DK Metcalf, 1.8. That's funny. You've got both of them on your team. TJ Hawkstrap, 11. Adam Thielen, 20.7. Mason Crosby, 5. And your Steelers D got you 0 points, and it wasn't enough. And last but not least, we've got the Chefs versus Team J Viv up in this bitch. J Viv had second win in a row. He's 8-4. He won again, 95.08 points to 88 points. The Chefs had Josh Allen go for 28.7. Devonta Freeman, 6.5. Jonathan Taylor, 17.7. Chris Godwin, 1.7. Terry McLaurin, 7.1. Hunter Henry, 2.6. Courtland Sutton, 2.7. E. McPherson, 10. And the Bills D got you 11. And on the flip side, Mr. Viv had Stafford go for 24.98 points. Antonio Gibson, 23.1. Nick Chubb, 4.9. Jamar Chase, 5.4. Chase Claypool, 9.7. Kyle Pitts, 3.6. Devontae Adams, 17.4. Justin Tucker at 8 points. And even still, with the Titans getting -2 points, you still beat the Chefs. The way the standings sit right now, I am 11-1 and have locked in a bye spot this year. We have 2 teams playing this week for a bye spot, and that is 2 guys, 1 penis, and J Viv at 8-4. And then behind him, we have 1, 2, 3 teams at 6-6 to make up the rest of the playoffs, which is Ballbuster, Unicorns, and Hans Buttplower. And just behind them, that could catch them this week or next week as well, is the Chefs, Team Van Damage, Team Hagen. The Muth is Luth. And then last but not least, at the bottom, scurrying to try to not win that penis trophy, you have Team Noel Joel and Fauci's a Trans. Fauci's a Trans is 3-9. Team Noel Joel is 4-8. One game ahead with 2 to go. So yeah, that's this week's video recap. Let's check the weekly report. Hans Buttplower had the QB of the week at Aaron Rodgers, 29 points. Dolphin Domination had the RB at 43.6, and I think you can guess who that was. I had the wide receiver getting 29.5 points, which is literally not a wide receiver, Mr. Patterson. Ballbuster had tight end, Mr. Gronkowski go for 18.8. The best kicker of the week was Noel Joel, getting 10 points, and Noel Joel also had the best defense at 17 points. Bench warmers of the week, Dolphin Domination had Carr go for 23. Crimson Tide had McKissick go for 20 on the bench. J. Viv had Waddle go for 27, as well as Schultz go for 14. Hans Bufflower had the kicker, Mr. Zerline, go for 1 point on the bench because he's probably the only one with a backup kicker. And the Saints D sat on my bench and got 4 points. The most efficient manager was Noel Joel. The least efficient was Hans Bufflower. The highest points total in loss was Dolphin Domination. The lowest points in win was Hagen. Biggest blowout, like we said, was the Ball Buster versus the underachiever Van Damage. And the narrowest victory was J. Viv this week. So that's kind of the rundown. I think it's going to be down to the wire like it is every year. I just happen to catch some luck here and there, and I have a pretty solid team. So hopefully that carries me into the playoffs, and I continue to do well, and I can trounce whoever's hopes and dreams in the next 2 weeks to make the playoffs going forward. So that's kind of this week's video recap. I hope to finish up the year. Just as a reminder, I believe it is not this week, but it is next week. And that's when lineups will lock, and we will end up doing that there, and then trades lock as well. So anyway, I hope you guys have a great Sunday. I hope you guys end up winning your leagues. And if you play daily fantasy, I hope it's all green, but true to form, dilly-dilly.